Stop and look where the camera didn't. 4 days, 2 agendas, 1 soft move that spoke louder than 100 shouted questions. As Prince Harry touched down in Britain for the first time in 5 months, chapel flowers in his hand, well-child on his calendar, headlines licking their lips, Kensington slipped a single card onto the table. The Princess of Wales would join the Prince at the Women's Institute in Sunningdale. On paper, a supportive wife stepping in. In the room, the defining signal of the day. Without a press conference or a pointed sentence, Catherine turned a potential carnival of speculation into a village hall afternoon with tea, sponge cake, and the kind of steadiness older Britons recognize on sight. The work goes on. The timing felt accidental only if you wanted it to. Hours after word spread that Harry had gone quietly to St. George's to lay flowers at his grandmother's resting place, and before he walked into the warm bravery of the Well-Child Awards, the Waleses arrived side by side where the late Queen spent decades feeling most herself. Among WI women who can judge character as quickly as cake. No pointed glances, no theatrical pauses, simply 2 people pouring tea and sharing small jokes in a room that smelled faintly of Polish and common sense. The effect was surgical. A solo appearance by the heir on a Sussex-charged news day would have fed questions for hours. A matched pair reduced the oxygen. Shoulder to shoulder, eye lines in step, the tiny choreography that tells a country, we are calm, we are together, and you may be too. Clothes did their share of speaking. Catherine's grey check, unfussy, unmistakably British, read as a whisper of Balmoral rather than a costume change, the kind of respectful echo that older eyes feel before they name. A dress built for working rooms. Sleeves that don't swallow a handshake, a hem that behaves on a church hall step, a collar bright enough to lift the face under fluorescent lights. The message landed where it needed to land, continuity over theatre, presence over pose. Where Harry's day opened with remembrance and closed with service in a charity hall that has never once traded in gossip, the Waleses occupied the public square, the small one, the useful one, where a nation still meets itself. It's tempting to log Catherine's late addition as supportive spouse and move on. But the pattern is larger and older than one afternoon. For 5 years, she has been shaping the optical perimeter, so the institution looks like what it intends to be. Not with stunts. With edits. A schedule tweak here, a fabric choice there, a light touch on William's arm at the exact moment a question is pitched across a rope line that doesn't deserve an answer. You don't win a day by arguing with it, you win by offering a better picture. That's grown-up soft power, the kind a 50-plus audience recognizes, because they used it at their own kitchen tables for decades. The setting mattered, because rooms tell truth. The WI is where the late Queen's public soul lived, lemon sponge, minutes kept properly, and sensible worries expressed in sentences short enough to carry. William standing there alone would have been a fine echo. William and Catherine together made it inheritance in motion. Fingers curved around cups, laughter with women who've seen governments come and go, the unhurried patience that says, we're not borrowing crisis today. It is hard to fake that posture. It is harder to maintain it when headlines scratch at the windows. That's why the cameras, hungry for reunion shots and motorcade puzzles, ended up filming teaspoons and smiles instead. The story went where it should, back to work. Harry's path needed no approval and carried its own dignity. The hush of the chapel. A wreath set down without an audience. A night with families who have learned to measure courage in hours and appointments, not in column inches. He hopes to see his father, perhaps he will, perhaps diaries and security and the stubbornness of real life will say not this time. Friends say he wants his children to know where he grew up, who their British family are. That's both simple and complicated, like most honest wishes. None of that was harmed, let alone hijacked, by a princess walking into a village hall. The lines are clear when they are drawn with good manners. Grief is personal, the crown is public, and both can breathe if neither tries to swallow the other. Read the geometry, and you'll see why the day belonged to the WI. A lone air on a day like this invites a vacuum, vacuums invite projections, projections breed noise. Add Catherine and the vacuum collapses. The smile arrives at the precise second an awkward question might have taken root. The room chuckles and the moment passes. That's not spin. That's composure used as a tool. And it has been honed the hard way. Through the fractures you remember, the pandemic's slow grind, the funerals you watched, the appetite of rumor that refused to tire. Older viewers have lived versions of this at work and in families. When the temperature rises, you bring in the person who steadies it by simply being there. Her ease with the WI crowd did the rest. Careful listening that looks like respect rather than performance. A laugh that lands and then yields the floor. The small art of letting someone finish a story even when another person is reaching for a handshake. William mirrored it. Less air apparent, more good company, with that trick of filling a room without owning it. You could feel people relax, the hard shoulders, the practiced humor, even the skepticism that keeps Britain honest when it looks at palaces. In a country tired of being told how to feel, the Waleses offered a useful alternative. We're fine, let's make you fine too. That's the grown-up divide of the week. Harry's day ran on devotion and duty, both sincere. The Waleses ran on continuity. Parallel tracks, both valid, one of them the daily grind that keeps a constitutional monarchy upright. You don't keep faith with older voters by delivering cliffhanger, you keep it by making the next hour look like it will hold. That's what Catherine protected with a single calendar line. The official rhythm would not yield the stage to family conjecture, because sovereign households answer stories with scenes, not statements. It's the late Queen's method, modernized. There's arithmetic in the background that doesn't need charts to be felt. The King keeps a careful clip. Front of house belongs increasingly to the couple who photograph like reliability. Security realities pin the Sussex timetable to another coast. In that map, Catherine's instinct to stabilize the frame when news tilts is not merely savvy, it's necessary. Institutions don't survive tempests by outshouting them, they survive by arriving on time with clean hands and no drama. That especially persuades the over 50s, who know in their bones how the late Queen managed noise. She turned up again tomorrow and treated frenzy like weather. Look again at the WI sequence and you'll see quiet craft. No jangling bracelets to fight the microphones. A clutch that frees hands rather than trapping them. Hair anchored where it should be so the cameras see faces, not flyaways. A hem with enough weight to sit without fidgeting on a village dais. If it sounds fussy, ask anyone who's ever tried to speak under strip lights, while a roomful of phones records the blink rate. Professionalism is kindness. It leaves other people nothing to worry about. That's why older viewers, in Britain and America alike, read these pictures and think, competent. None of this diminishes the human ache that drove Harry back to a chapel. It doesn't belittle his wish to see his father, to braid his California life to the corridors where he learned the shape of his name, to give his children a sense of where the photographs on the mantel were taken. It simply refuses to turn private hopes into public fuel. Rumors will do what rumors do. The day answered them with something you can actually use. A prince and a princess in a hall where the country has always handled itself, politely, plainly, over tea. There's a parable in that for the months ahead. The king will pace himself and work. The heir and his wife will carry more front doors and more rooms you can smell before you see. The Sussex schedule will remain transatlantic, with charity nights that land properly, because the causes are real. In that arrangement, the Wales's small edits become the institution's big insurance policy. Less spectacle, more scaffolding. Fewer adjacent faces, more deliberate weeks that are dull on purpose. It isn't the stuff of cliffhanger. It is the way you get through winters. So, yes, All eyes flicked to Windsor and all ears strained for now found. In a diary. Maybe it was there, maybe not. If it was, you won't see it. If it wasn't, the day was already full. A wreath laid, families seen, a village hall reminded that the crown still knows how to show up at human height. The most consequential royal act wasn't a reunion or a rebuff. It was a diary line added late. Two people walking into a room older than any hashtag, and a message sent without a lectern. We are here together, and the work goes on. If you appreciate this kind of calm, well-sourced reading of the room, less heat, more light, tap like so others can find it, share with the friend who always asks what's actually happening, and subscribe. Then tell me in the comments what you saw that the cameras missed. Did Catherine's late edition simply steady the frame, or did it quietly redraw it? Older eyes often catch the truth first.